Something just happened at Pocono Raceway that the entire NASCAR world is talking about. And if you're a Kyle Larson fan, you need to stop what you're doing right now and watch this video to the very end. Because what NASCAR just did to one of the sport's biggest stars, before a single race lap was even turned, has people absolutely furious. If you want to stay on top of breaking NASCAR news, team penalties, and driver controversies the moment they happen, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications, because we cover everything this sport tries to sweep under the rug. Now let's get into it. It's June 2026, and Kyle Larson, the reigning two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, the man who just claimed the title in 2025, one of the most dominant drivers on the grid right now, walked into race weekend at Pocono Raceway and got blindsided before he ever strapped into his helmet. This is the kind of story that reminds you just how brutal this sport can be, even for the very best. Here's exactly what happened. On Saturday morning before qualifying for the Great American Getaway 400, NASCAR officials put every car through technical inspection. Most teams sailed right through without a problem. But then they got to the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, Kyle Larson's car, and it failed. Not once, twice. 2 separate failures before the team scrambled to make adjustments and finally squeaked through on the 3rd attempt. And in NASCAR, 2 failures before a 3rd attempt pass is not a free pass. There are consequences. Serious ones. NASCAR immediately hit the number 5 team with the loss of pit stall selection. Now, if you don't follow racing closely, you might be thinking, how bad can that really be? Let me paint the picture for you. At Pocono Raceway, known as the Tricky Triangle, a 2.5-mile track with 3 completely different corner designs, pit strategy isn't just important, it can literally decide the entire race. Track position at Pocono is everything. Losing the ability to choose your pit stall means you're essentially going into one of the most complex strategy races on the calendar, with one hand tied behind your back. That's not a minor inconvenience. That could cost this team a win. And that wasn't even the worst of it. NASCAR went a step further and ejected Larson's car chief, Jesse Saunders, for the entire remainder of the race weekend. Gone. Not allowed back on pit road. Not able to help the team at all on race day. Just like that, one of Larson's most trusted technical crew members was sent packing, and Hendrick Motorsports had to scramble to reorganize operations heading into Sunday's race, with no Saunders in sight. Now here's what makes this story even more dramatic. Earlier that same Saturday morning, before all of this went down, Kyle Larson was absolutely on fire. He posted the fastest lap in practice, 170 miles per hour around the Tricky Triangle, and he led the field in 10-lap average speed too, meaning his long-run pace looked like championship-caliber stuff. This man came to Pocono ready to win. The speed was there. The car looked fast. Everything was pointing toward a potential race victory. And then the inspection failures happened, and suddenly a dominant weekend looked like it was turning into a disaster. Now let's talk about what a lot of fans aren't saying out loud but are absolutely thinking. Larson is the defending champion. He's a 2-time champion. He's sitting 6th in points this season with 9 top 10 finishes through 16 races. He hasn't won a race yet in 2026, and the pressure to get that first win of the year is real. This is not the kind of weekend disruption you want when you're a championship contender trying to snap a winless streak. Every race matters. Every point matters. And now, heading into one of the most challenging tracks on the schedule, his team is short a key leader and stuck with whatever pit stalls are left over after everyone else picks theirs. Here's a detail that a lot of people are sleeping on. This inspection issue is not isolated. Inspection penalties have been a recurring theme across the entire 2026 NASCAR season. It happened at Michigan just the weekend before Pocono. Back in March at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 4 separate car chiefs were ejected in a single weekend. Teams are pushing the boundaries harder than ever, looking for every last fraction of advantage they can find in a sport where the margins between winning and losing are measured in hundredths of a second. NASCAR is cracking down, and unfortunately for Kyle Larson and Hendrick Motorsports, they got caught in that crackdown at exactly the wrong moment. What makes the casual NASCAR fan miss the full gravity of the situation is not understanding just how critical the car chief role is during race day operations. Jesse Saunders isn't just a title on a staff roster. He's the person responsible for the car's setup, for making real-time decisions about adjustments, for being the technical brain alongside the crew chief on race day. With Saunders ejected, Hendrick Motorsports had to shift responsibilities mid-weekend, and that kind of disruption can ripple through every decision made during a race. Pit calls, adjustments, timing. The bottom line here is simple. Kyle Larson showed up to Pocono as one of the favorites to win. He had the speed to back that up. And then NASCAR's inspection process took away his car chief and his pit stall selection before the race even started. Whether you think teams should be pushing boundaries during inspection or not, there's no denying that losing Jesse Saunders for the whole weekend hurts. It's a brutal blow for a team that clearly had the pace to contend for the win. And this is the kind of story that defines seasons. Championships are not just won on the racetrack. They're won or lost in moments exactly like this one. One inspection mistake, 2 failures, and suddenly a championship contender is fighting with one hand tied behind their back at a track where strategy and pit execution are half the battle. Keep watching this space, because however this Pocono race played out for Kyle Larson, this situation is far from the last drama you'll see out of the 2026 NASCAR season.